Hello, my zombies. So we are back. Third episode. And let me discuss something about the knowledge systems now. Most of the what people say knowledge, no? If you just keep going, either using like logic, sort of logic, cut, cut, in the base you realize like what a philosopher called it's like an axiom, which is a belief which is kind of accepted as a fact. It's always there in any knowledge system. If you have the intellect to go deep, that's it. Rest, it's a stupidity only anyways. Human beings want to become gods. We will solve the universe. We will tell you how it works. Okay, you will tell us how it works, huh? What else? Nothing else. But it's going to happen. I mean, how far they will run, you know? How far they will hide that they are calling their beliefs as fact. They cannot hide. Truth cannot be hidden, no? Cannot hide it. Like I watching a video in which I was discussing like why Saturn is not an conscious being, and some stupid arguments people give, like it doesn't have a control center, it doesn't have a, because they think like what you call mind has to be a centralized system, which is a stupidity in itself, because if you go by the modern physics only, like you realize that in a sense that even an atom has a mind. What is mind? Mind means like it knows how to adapt, it knows how to, like how does chemical reactions occur, because the atom or a molecule has a mind, right? It has an understanding. Yeah, it's all what you call like anthropomorphic projection, like projecting, assuming that you are the conscious being, and then every conscious thing has to be a replica or has to somehow in design follow the same pattern as the human. So that's again an assumption only. But who tells these stupid people, no? They dress like coats and jackets and they sit and like serious. No, I will tell you why Saturn is not an alive being. See, we have analyzed these molecules for thousands of years, and like this, then the data is like telling us like this is not happening. And the same like 10 years, the same guys will be like, oh no, we were very wrong. No, but now we know the truth. Now, next Nobel Prize will be mine. This is very good. We have done all the research and everything. Every molecules I have analyzed. My God. These guys are just good at sounding confident, and people think like because the guy is so serious that it must be truth. They don't realize that most of the people who sound serious are actually they don't know, because they are insecure. That's why they are so serious. Someone who knows the truth, they don't need to be serious because they know it. Because you are hiding your incomplete knowledge, so that's why you have to be very serious in saying like pretending like you are like that. But be serious. But all of that also we will break through all this, like even the tiny brick by brick we will do it. the philosophical argument, what we call like darshan in Hindi, the scientific arguments, what they do. It's very easy actually to see, but robots, trained robots, there's no difference between them and AI. Saturn is not alive. Saturn is Shanidev, bro. He has a register. He notes everything. Where will you run when the truth will be right in your face? How will you run then? Saprao Ji, hello. Saprao 0011. No photograph. What is the meaning of Saprao? Saprao. People make all sorts of things these days. Gen Z is like meaningless words. Very good at making. Just sitting. If you have any question, discussions, you can do that. Or we can just be happy. I'll share one more observation, which is like what stops the quest for knowledge? And this is, I'm not going on any, belief or anything. Just use your logic and just cut through things. What stops it? Generally, what stops are the romantic stories that we have created around it. And then you, for a day or two, you keep looping in that romantic story. And then somehow you realize, oh my God, my focus was to evaluate this. Then you come back again. But that is like a trip, a loop it will take you. And that is all part of the ego only. Because ego is like, okay, so let's say you are reading some book and some knowledge. And in between ego will be like, oh, you are gaining a lot of knowledge, sir. You are becoming very intelligent. Something is gonna happen, so it will take you in this loop, and that loop will stop you from actually gaining more knowledge, because the ego is trying to create a romantic story around it. It is trying to create a story in which you can own the knowledge, and or maybe someone else will come and say, oh my God, your insights are so deep, you are like this and that, and then your ego will be like, I know, I'm a very serious guy. I have done all the research in the Harvard and for 75 years. Look at my hair, all wrinkly and everything. This is the proof that I am Einstein and I'm a scientist. And I can sit in this forum set with a jacket and everything tied. I can talk in English with all these words I will throw around. So all that is ego trip only, nothing else. If you just discuss core abstract knowledge directly, in half an hour it will finish. It's very easy. Everything whatever you are observing in the universe, you have to observe through your brain. Very simple, right? Any scientific experiment, tell me, what scientific experiment can you do in which you don't use your senses? You have to use something. Even if you are using microscope, still you have to use your eye to look through microscope. Even if you are doing some other experiment, double slit experiment, this experiment, that experiment, you have to have some sensory input, right, to analyze it. And who analyzes the sensory input? The signal that goes to this eye, the signal that goes through this nose, that goes through this tongue, that goes through this skin, who analyzes it? It's the brain. So, and how does brain work? Basically, brain working of brain is what we call thought or thinking. So finally, everything is coming from the thinking. Whatever experiment you do, whatever language you define, whatever AI you create, it's coming from here only. You are projecting it on the world, and sometimes maybe you will create a physical of it, or sometimes you will just leave it as a thought. You know? It's very easy. But these guys won't take that cause and effect and everything. Even if they take, they will somehow in between, they will loop you around. In some fancy words, it is EDMH. It secretes these hormones, which is PTHO2. All this, like, what are all these PTH2O2 and all of this? Atoms. What is an atom? Electron, proton, whatever. What is an electron? Finally, it's a wave. It's energy. So finally, it's an energy only. Everything that is you are saying. Why don't you explain in terms of the energy then? So at different levels of this story, you are confused in the romantic story around it. Now you are operating on the lever. What is lever? Again, you go and follow the chain. Because that's how their ego is making a sense of their life, no? The scientist wants to believe that they are doing something very intelligent. They are doing something very important for the humankind. It will change the humankind forever. We are breaking the new horizon. You know? All of these things they have to tell themselves so that they can keep going, so that they can keep pampering their ego. Otherwise, if anybody really wants to know the truth, it's very easy. Curious anomaly. I like that name. Curious anomaly. We'll do all of this also. Like, now I'm going to live full life. I've decided. Now, only 2 rules Shiva has given me. Other than that, full life we will live. We will also have jackets and everything. We will also sit in forums and talk all this bullshit and like that. But stage only you need to. Jacket only you can rent also these days. Very cheap. So, and some hair also I have. We can just curl them and like, oh, I look like a scientist now. Some fancy words you need to know. Most of the audience doesn't even know if they feel something or not. So they just listen to the confidence of the guy. Like, yeah, this guy is very serious. Very confident. It means he knows it. That's how most of the people guess stuff. They don't know. They have never read anything. No comments, nothing. Not a happening interaction. What should we do? So yeah, we will leave everything. We'll try everything. Everything we will break through to reduce, connect it to the basic. Like this stone, right? Or what you call earth. All the material that what you call steel, iron, copper, this and that is just a refined state of this. In some of these stones you find gold, in some of these stones you find that, and then you refine it. So all of that is coming from the earth only. So you make the connections, no? And then you can go deeper into the quantum realm, into the microscopic nanoparticle and everything. Or you can go bigger. And then you can see like how the earth is moving. So what's the point? For me, my point is just to be. That's the direction. It's it's mostly very, if two fruits are both fruits, they can still be an orange and apple. Yeah, that is fine. No, I'm not against naming electrons and protons. I'm saying that it is just like a same thing which is manifesting in different forms. So don't go about the form. It's like a hero, no? Like Ranveer Singh acting as a role as a dacoit or acting as a role of a someone else. Finally, it's Ranveer Singh only, no? You realize that, yeah. So if it is the same thing, so don't get confused in the forms. If you really want to know the truth. Otherwise, you can keep building any form. So that's what I tell, no? Like this body. So one way of analyzing the forms is like saying this is brain, this is liver, this is that. Then you go deeper and then you break the forms into subforms. Then you break into subforms. Then you break into subforms. Aren't the forms important since they behave differently, just like an orange is different? The forms are important for practical purposes. So practical purposes, obviously, you need to name things and forms are important. But again, we are not talking about the practicality in a sense. We are talking about if you really want to know the absolute. So naming the form is like, it's a relative truth only, no? Yeah. It tastes different. Yeah. Goal isn't. It's not like we are against practicality. Obviously, the world has to go on. But to analyze that, all of this is a relative reality in a sense. Like, okay, then the basic question again, all of this comes like, again the same thing, the basic question, consciousness only. So the game you can play it in any different way. Before science came, like they classified stuff into, these names that we have now know, electron, protons and all of these. Then people used to call them different stuff, but they were still making use of it, right? So you can still use stuff even though maybe you are calling it a different names, or maybe you are classifying it in a different way. That is our practical world. Practical world is only about, how do you survive, how do you make use of it, how do you get different experiences and all of that. But do you want to go beyond it? Do you want to go, okay, see, now all of this is done. I have tasted the apple also, I have tasted the orange also. Now I want to know what is taste itself, right? Not the object that I am tasting, but what is actually the taste? Where is the sensation of taste coming from? That's the... Can spirituality make girls fall in love with me? Everyone will fall for you. I am telling you. But that will be very shallow. Most of the times it's very shallow. Because people are attracted to your energy. Like if you become spiritual, your energy will become positive in a sense, right? And people are attracted to positive people. But they are not really in love in a sense. They are there just to soak the energy because it feels good. It is like that one friend who always give you positive talk, or the inspirational speakers who, whenever you feel down, you listen to this song, Bhag Milka Bhag. Tell you are like, okay, yes sir, I can do it. I will read another day. I will do more hard work. So that's the generally people use spiritual people for. But that is the very wrong way. That is what people use God for, right? They go and offer and it's like, God, I'm giving you this jalebi and you pass me this exam. Because you are using that positivity for your own personal gains. You can do it, but that's not the main goal. But even in the practicality, we will arrange it in a manner so that it is more easily understood. Like most people don't understand the practicality also. They have less awareness of their surroundings. Like these trees, what are these trees made of? Now the same earth which is this, in a sense, and all of whatever stuff is in there is actually making rise to the tree also. How all of this is functioning, how all this world is functioning, that's the main question. No, you ask the question like, what is all of this? I the tree behind, like in the video, that tree. So it's coming from the same soil, no, on which this came from. So somehow, like on a deeper level, you can understand, like there is a science will tell you, like there is a DNA structure, or there is some basic code in everything, which is there in a seed also. So we can call it like a genetic code of the seed. Similarly, there is a genetic code in a human also. And then same genetic code, when it receives the proper condition, it manifests into a larger physical object. Like the sperms and egg, the same genetic code, the only one cell, and we are here like that, from that one cell. So same with the tree also. Leaves and branches, this is a tree. It's a big tree. So that's why I was saying, no. See, forms we name, like this is a leaf, this is a trunk, this is a tree. These are all practical nomenclature, and it's fine. Obviously, you have to name them, no, to break it down. Intellect does it. But if you really want to understand the tree, or if you really want to understand what this thing is that is there, then you have to look at it a different way. Because finally, it's about, again, as I'm going, like, how am I going to analyze this tree? I'm going to watch this tree, right? See it growing, see it moving, all of that. Or I'm going to smell this tree. Again, 5 senses. There's only 5 ways of input I can take from the universe to analyze the universe. There's nothing else. Now these inputs you can extrapolate using some tools. Like maybe my nose cannot smell all of that, so I put an apparatus which increases my efficiency. Right? I cannot see all the different colors in the one ray of light, so I use a different apparatus like a prism, and then I see, oh, there are 7 colors in it. Imagination is just your mind only, no? Same stuff. No, senses are just input channels. You cannot imagine anything which data is not come from the 5 senses. You cannot. And this is psychologically proven. Like most of the people, when they try to imagine alien, the alien is always somewhere like a combination of whatever they are observed in their life. It will always be. You can never really imagine an alien. You cannot. Because real alien means that you can never imagine it. That's the meaning of the word. Like it's an alien thing to you. So what we call imagination is just like, or creativity, is just putting different stuffs together and making sense in which generally people don't make it sense of it. It's like same, no? Like when Newton stories, like apple fall down. Generally people saw apple fall down every day. But Newton's mind, the circuit connected in a different way. So that's what we call creativity or imagination. Like Einstein imagined like there is a gravitational field, in the world on which all the planets are moving. That is imagination only. But where does that come from? It's not coming from... You can, like, this Krishnamurti answer is very nicely. Like, what is creativity and all of these intellectual questions, no? That guy is like the guy. It is all a byproduct. You cannot... All the data that you have ingested, through your five senses, or let's say if you take example of a computer, okay, so whatever data the computer will take through the mouse, through the keyboard, Krishnamurti, J.K. Krishnamurti. So he has answered all of this, and you should really watch his conversation with David Bohm. Like it's the same answer which I am answering. It's like again in the computer can only get as creative as the data that is inputted into it. That's why. Okay, come. Nothing happened. Yeah. And his discussions, I don't know. I mostly see videos only. I watched a lot of like videos of him. His discussions with the scientists, like he discusses with like a botanist about how plant are living beings or not living beings, and he discusses with like David Bohm, who is like a well-known physicist, about how what is life, what is consciousness, and everything. Those discussions are really good, like really insightful when you really see someone intellectually breaking it down. And yeah, on YouTube, very nice. Even his discussion with like one of the swamis also, like the swami tells like there's a structure in our tradition that these kind of people are there and this path they have to follow and that path they have to follow, and he answers it very nicely. That is Krishna Murari, not Krishnamurti. Krishna Murari ji. Like the imagination, you can answer similarly like how AI works. So AI is only as powerful as the data set that is given to it. That most AI scientists will agree. The more powerful data set, the more structured data set that you provide to it, the more creative answer it can give you. Or the answer which is looking like a creative answer to a normal human being. Now, what is that creative answer? It means that it is among the data set, it is making a sense. It is joining different points and making a sense out of it, which is a out of box thing. That is what we call imagination. Same thing we do in our mind also. The working of mind, it's based on the data only. Five senses are the input channels, and then this is the CPU. So it's all get processed here. And out of that data only what we call creativity, what we call imagination, what we call thinking. Imagination is also thinking, right? Thought only. It's a different way of thinking. Not a different way, but it's like a different way. Because generally people who are rational or critical thinker, they are not creative thinker because they like to go line by line. Is it input or is it a projector screen? What? Like senses. Senses are input channel only. The projector screen is like so. This is you can easily see though, like in your dreams, what you see in your dreams, the senses are inactive, right? You are not taking any input from the outside world. You don't know what is happening. Your eyes are closed. Even sounds also, maybe somebody is shouting, but you are not hearing it. So it in a way your physical body or your senses are closed, but your CPU is still working. Are the output five senses? No, senses are input, and what we call output is karmendriya, what we call action organs. This is the difference. Like in our like Vedic thing, they call it Gyanendri. Gyanendri means basically where you get the data from, and Karmendri means like organs which act it out, like the hands, right? So I take input from my eyes, and if I say a ball is coming to me, then suddenly I will move my hand and I will catch the ball. That is the output of it. So these are the information you receive, then you process it in your mind, and then the mind says, okay, do this. Like after the processing, okay, this is this best scenario, you can do it right now. Now, some people maybe if some strong ball is coming or something like something falling on you right now, maybe they will just shy away and close their eyes. That is also a what you people call it, flight. These three mechanisms they give now, like fight, flight, or freeze. So generally, like these three things, the mind, three patterns it will work. How will you see any output of action if there are no senses? No, you can still see output. You don't see the output, but you can still do the output, no? Like you can close your eyes and still you can move your hand. So it's an internal thing, no? You lock yourself in a completely dark room. Okay, no light. You cannot even see your hand, and then you dance. You will know inside that you are dancing, although there is no sensory feedback to it. In my dream, I do output action, but there is no real output because the senses are inactive. Yes, no senses are inactive, but even the action organs are also inactive. Sometimes people do sleepwalk, no? So in that sleepwalk, they kind of like the mind gets connected to the body, although they don't know that it is connected to the body. Gravity is a different thing. Gravity is more like a physical observation. I mean, you can observe it through senses, but if you really want to feel gravity in you or on your body, then that's a different thing. That you can observe without senses also. No, that that is the entire thing you are saying. No, all output is a subset. That is true. All output is a subset of the input. Whatever data you will take, that only you can. The language I am talking in, I am able to speak because I have inputted a lot of references of the words in my mind, right? So I can now output it. But my output is different because I'm making sense of it. It's different. Senses are input. Senses are input. Your feet, your hands, these are the output. You observe it in your daily life. Like you are walking and suddenly, let's say, the earth, the snake comes in front of you. So you will see the snake, but then where will the output will go? The output will go to the feet. You're like, okay, stop right here, or the run, or jump. Motor nerves. Now we are going into neuroscience way. I have to see like how they have structured the system, like what they call motor nerves, what they call sensory nerves, and you have to see like what is the difference. Oh, in that sense you are talking about. Obviously, then it's like a loop. Then it's a continuous loop, no? That uh, you know where your feet is, so because of the what you call skin, no sense of skin, so touch basically. So that's why you know that you are walking on the ground. But it's like a constant input and output happening in the same time. You are taking the input from the touch, like what kind of ground you are hitting in, and then it goes to your mind. Then it makes the scenario. Okay, this is happening, and then it feet also moves accordingly. And then as the feet moves, the what you call motor nerves, then the new sensory input will also come. and then again you will process it, and then again you will send the output. That's the main point. You cannot be sure because finally this output and input is just recycling the same thing. It's the same thing looping around. That's what Gita said also. Krishna, he knew everything, you know. He's like a very stable consciousness in which he can, by doing every act, still he's aware of all of this. That's why he's called God. Yep. If through senses you cannot attain it. Yes. That is the samsaric game that we are playing. So basically, we have decided on this game that we will play, and as a human form, we have come, and then we do all of these things. No, we eat food, we digest it, we do this, we do that, actions. Again, we are not understanding the worldly game. We can understand that also. It will help, but the question is how do you go beyond the game? What is behind the game? Who is running the game? Fun is only in the imagination. That is true. There is no real fun. There is no real act also, in the sense. Like Krishna says, no, like karm karo, phal ki ichha mat karo. So even that karm that you are doing, that is also in imagination. The phal that you are getting, that is also in imagination. But if to really understand that, you have to understand the illusion of the game itself. But if you really see it, no, like when you again the same, like two cells only combined, and then now this is here, and then now this is acting in all sorts of different ways, but finally it will dissolve and become this, this stone, the same matter. So where is the color? Where is the fun? What will go with you? What will stay with you? But it is the teaching is given again. I am saying no, like how people have named the forms, how people have understood the world. So for a Karm Yogi understands the world as a doer. So he wants to do stuff. So then the wisdom and the teaching is giving in the language that is good for the doer. So you say, okay, if you are a doer, then do stuff, that is fine. But do it without the, what you say, without a preconception of the fall. It's not like you don't plan. Obviously you plan. But you have to always give the uncertainty the advantage. Like anything can happen. So similarly for, that's what I say, no? Like for a bhakti yoga, that guy is maybe not able to do karma also. Let's say someone is physically ill, or your grandparents. Now they cannot do karma, or they do very little karma. And let's say their mind is also not that strong. Like they cannot, if I give them physics book, they cannot read it. Or if I give them Krishnamurti, they will be like, what is this guy talking? So for them, like Jnana Yoga cannot happen. For them, Karma Yoga cannot happen. They cannot sit and do pranayama and all of that, like do dhyan for a long period of time also. So for them, then this is in their language, in their occupation, says you do bhakti. That you just blindly do it. Anything that, any movement is karma. Even the movement of mind is also karma. Karma means what? Karma means impression of energy into this world. So even when you are thinking, you are still creating an impression. And that impression on the physical matter that you are creating. When you are thinking, we are creating an impression in the neurons, right? We are doing it, rewiring it, or some synapse will be better, some synapse will be, loose and all of that. Yes, that's what Krishna says. Arjuna asked this, no? He like, see, Krishna says, see, even if you become a yogi or become to mountains, and you have to do karma because you have to breathe, no? You cannot run away from karma.
As long as you are alive, as long as you are in some being form, you have to do karma. Nobody can run away from karma. Even the yogi sitting in dhyana is doing some karma, right? He's doing something. As long as you are doing something, then it means the karma is happening. Because there is some moment that is happening. And that is when you go deeper and deeper, then you realize where is this moment coming from? Which is poking me again and again that now I have to eat food. Now I have this craving of eating orange. Now I have to do this. Where is all of this coming from? And then you go deeper and deeper. And then this is what they call, Patanjali call it vritti. Like any movement is a vritti. Vritti means like let's assume let's say completely still film. Complete stillness. In that complete stillness, some moment came. That is the vritti. It's like when you throw a stone in water, completely still water, the wave will come. So where does the desire came from? Where that vritti came from? With that vritti again then manifest in your mind as a thought, and then the thought makes you do action. That I have to go to this dhaba to eat food, or I have to do this and that. And his definition of yoga is yogashta chitta vritti nirodha. Like in yoga, you remove all of your vrittis, or all of your possibilities of movement, like something that can make you move. So you remove that. Very nice definition. Finally, that's why I'm saying, no, final truth is Shiva only. Complete stillness, complete emptiness. That's what Buddha also said. Like final answer is lies there only. It lies in nothingness. Because in nothingness there is no movement. But in nothingness there will be just the consciousness. But the consciousness is completely still. It's not moving at all. Till the time there is movement, it means that you will come into some form to execute it. You keep doing karma, and if you do karma with some expectation that it will attain more karma for you, because then this happens in our life. It's very simple to understand. Like if I have a karma, like I will buy this car, I buy this car. Now it doesn't end there. That vritti doesn't end there. Then it's like, okay, what can I do with the car? Maybe I can put a speaker in it. Maybe I can put this in it. Maybe I can do this in it. And maybe after 5 years, I have to buy a new one. Or I have to replace the tires. So it keeps going on and on. If you do it with an expectation, that's the main thing. Like you can keep, he defined it, I think, like a sakam karma or nishkam karma. Like the act of doing something in which it put an impression in your mind, an act of doing something in which it doesn't create an impression in your mind. It's like you did it, but there is no impression on you. It's crazy to see, no, but it is actually possible. Like you can look at Buddha's life. It's very simple. Like he did so much, but the guy is untouched. He's still like that only. Still the same, like empty Buddha. Yeah, nice discussion. Like Krishnaji, very nice questions. I think you should ask more questions, think more. And I also like look more deeper into how they have structured the brain thing, no? Like motor nerves and what forms and what names they have given to different functions and all of that. So that even that also we can understand. All right, we'll see again and we'll keep doing all this stuff. Knowledge also, there is nothing which is unacceptable in a sense. Any form of knowledge should be to increase your awareness about the world.